Hey, this is Robert at Goozy Fabrication. You know what to do. Hit that like and subscribe. Leave a comment. For all my DIY guys and gals out there, I've got a great video put together for you today. What the video content is going to be about is if you're putting a floor pan in, a trunk, a roof, any body panel that is not a bolt-on, well, you are going to need a way to separate those panels so that you can install the new replacement panels. And you want to be efficient. You don't want to destroy or damage the adjoining panels when we do that. So I'm going to show you a method that I use that I think is far superior to what they teach. Now what we've got is a 1971 Cuda creamed puff, not a cream puff. Well, it's got extensive damage, but hey man, this is a shout out to Ruben. Don't worry, brother, I got you. We're gonna make this car beautiful. Luckily, all of the replacement body panels are available for this car. So yeah, there's some ugly, but we're gonna fix that. Okay, back to what we're doing today. Now I've already cut out the floor pan. Now we are not going to be installing a floor pan with all of the bracing attached. Now if it was a Impala or something like that, yeah, maybe that would be a different story, but we're just replacing the floor pan itself. So this is rough cut out. We're going to need a method of separating or removing the rest of the remnant of the floor pan. And let me show you how to do that. Now there's a traditional way that everybody teaches you and everybody says the only way, but there's another way to separate body panels that is faster, easier, more efficient, and the method I prefer to use. So what I've got set up over here, we're going to do a little demo, then we're going to go back out and I'm going to show you how to apply this in the real world. Okay, so we've got a floor pan section, and it's off of our little project 61 Impala. All body panels that do not bolt on, they are attached or fixed or joined together with what is called resistance welds. Those little divots attach all body panels together. This is how a car is put together. And you can see on this car, I've already marked them out on the firewall, and it goes just the entire length. This is what holds your car together. And let me show you the tool that does it. Now, this is an aftermarket. The factory uses a much more industrial resistance welder, spot welder. Resistance welder is the official name. This is what it looks like, the way it works. You got two pieces of metal, two overlapping panels. They go in between. The tongs come down, electrical current runs through, and the current runs through both, and it welds them together. So if we needed to replace this brace, well, we're going to have to deal with these resistance welds. We're going to have to eliminate them. Okay, the traditional method is to use either a drill bit or a spot weld cutter. Now, the issue with those, they are both consumable. So when we're doing a long line of resistance welds, now that's on both sides, I've marked them out, but that's both sides of the brace, you know, that's added cost. Now with my method, there is no additional cost on every job. And let's get on with the traditional method demo. So what we would have to do, we would have to find the center, and that's really important because now these are easy. They're really small resistance welds. I've seen them on Mopars especially. They can be as big as a thumbnail or a little pinky nail. Yeah, that's a problem if you're going to drill that out. So okay, so we've got this drilled out. The bit started to walk a little bit. Now if you're using a spot welder cutter bit, yeah, it can do the same thing. Yeah, if it's not perfectly centered and part of the weld is still attached, or you've got that big resistance weld, man, that can turn into a mess real fast. And there's another downside of that also. I'll explain later. Okay, so on to my method, and let me be very clear. My method may not work in every situation. There will be times if the metal is too thin or it's really inaccessible, an inaccessible place where I can't get the tool in there to do it, well, then yeah, you're gonna have to drill it out. But the majority, no. So this is my method, the tool that I use. Show you both of them and which one to use. Okay, these are air hammers. Now you'll notice we have a small one. Yeah, that's a really inexpensive one. Yeah, we don't use that one. Now we need something like this Ingersoll Rand. This is a very heavy duty air hammer. This is what we're going to be using. Now the trick is, this bit you can buy it from Matco Tools. It's a actually I think it's called a scraper bit. Well, whatever it's called, it works awesome, and that is the trick. Now you wouldn't want to use a bit like this or like this. These are more for ripping or cutting. Yeah, you don't want to use those. Well, you might be able to get by with this one if this is all you had. Another really important part on using this method. Okay, this is the air adjustment. You don't want to go crazy and hit that trigger, and sometimes because you will definitely destroy the metal. Don't want to do that. And this is the Ingersoll Rand. Okay, so let's get out into the real world and let me show you what this will do. And how to use this method. All right, step into my office. Before we even start, personal protective equipment, PPE. Now I modified this. This is from Uvex. Put a piece of old leather from a jacket. Keep stuff from sparks from going up underneath. Really inexpensive hearing protection. I really like these gloves. Just do it, man. Don't skimp. They're 30 to 40 resistance weld, just holding this brace to the floor pan alone. Okay, so if we go around the entire floor pan, I don't know, between 100 and 200, 150 maybe. I have no idea. Haven't counted them, but there's a lot. Okay, so instead of drilling each one out individually in the right spot, because if you miss the center, it's not going to detach. You've got to go back and jack with it. Instead of doing all that mess, let's just try this. All I need is an entrance point, and then I'm going to take off. This looks like a good area right here. Now that we have our entrance point, what we want to do is cut the panel in half. Now, usually I would start on the end, But for the video, it's easier to video if I just start in the middle. So that's where we're going to start. I've located a resistance weld, and I want you to watch what happens. So with this method, I am just blowing right through that resistance weld, and I'm being left with this much cleanup. Yeah, I can live with that. So these minor little divots, we can finish this off with either a flap disc, little grinding disc, or a grinding stone. Either one. DA or a DA, dual action sander. Then before we install our new pan, well, we'd want to come back with either some epoxy. You can use POR 15, any type of encapsulator, anything with zinc in it, and you'll be fine. And for the last reason that I really dislike drilling out the spot welds, well, you're going to have a hole about half the size of my pinky. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 resistance welds in this area. So you, on both sides of this brace, you're going to have 35 holes. Now the way I do it, I like to weld from the top, not the bottom, because if you're underneath, well, I don't like getting showered in hot and molten steel, so I'm going to do my work from the top. Now the way I would do that, I would set my floor pan up for plug welding. So for those of you who don't know what a plug weld is, you would put a series of holes in the sheet metal of the part you want to affix, lay it on top. Now you weld from the top into the plug weld holes. Well, if I've got 20 holes on each side already and I don't pay attention or line up or match up the holes, well, I don't want to match up the holes. Let me say it that way. If I have a hole here, 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 I don't want to fall, or I don't want my plug weld hole to fall in the hole that I've drilled. Yeah, because now there's nothing to weld to. Yeah, that's always a pet peeve of mine. Don't like that. There's your final tip. It's that fast and that easy. Hey, hit that like, subscribe, leave some comments, good or bad. You're not going to hurt my feelings. Share the video. Thanks to all our supporters and followers. And as always, thanks for watching.